Welcome back to Mindful Conversations. This has been a crazy year, 2020 and also 2021. A lot of people are wondering how they're going to persist, how they're going to be productive, and a lot of times when life throws you lemons, you have to make lemonades. My guest today wrote this book, and it's called The Lemonade Diet. Her name is Susan Wheeler. She's a friend of mine, and thank you for being on the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I didn't know you wrote this book. You walked in just a few minutes ago and you handed me a copy. You signed it. This is wonderful. And I asked you how long you took to write this, and you said?
My whole life.
Your whole life. So 25 years.
Yeah, 26.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
All right. So what inspired you? It says on the back of the book that you were in a accident. You broke your back. Bad things happened.
Yeah.
But you turned it around. So
Yeah.
tell the story, the backstory.
Gosh, there's so many backstories, and the reason I wrote this book is because so many people take themselves out of the game.
Yes.
Something happens,
Yes.
and then they just quit or throw in the towel or use that as an excuse.
Okay.
And each chapter is something that has happened in my life that I've kind of learned a lesson from, and that's what I think people don't do enough of. They don't take something, even if it's tragic,
Right.
turn it around and move on. So
Right. Well, look at 2020, right? When it happened, I was shocked, and I told you today on the phone that I must confess I spent a lot of time on social media trying to figure it out, and there were all these kinds of emotions, and eventually you come to grips with what's going on, but you got to make
Did
do.
you? I never came to grips.
Oh, you never did?
No, I'm kidding.
But there's a choice.
Yeah.
Like, what happens to you, right? But how you respond to it is totally different depending on how you see the world.
Absolutely. And I must say, I had a fabulous year.
You did, 2020?
Yes. And so the book was due to be published April 1st, and that everything was shutting down.
It was.
Yeah. So it got published a couple weeks early. The book tour was canceled. Everything we had planned, airline tickets, venues, everything was just canceled.
Right.
So, and like I said, I literally, this book, I haven't been writing it my whole life, but it is stories throughout my whole life, and I journal and I blog and put it all together. And I thought, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I finally get it to this point, and we have a pandemic.
Now, did you have the title and the messaging?
Everything.
You did, because
it was completely
really
done.
Yeah, I mean, it's really saying like when life gives you lemons, and then this thing happened.
Yeah. So what was I to do? Honestly, probably like anything, you have a mini meltdown.
Yes.
Maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, how am I going to make this work? And I really made it work, and it was cool and creative.
So how come you have that mindset to ask that question? Because you say, how am I going to make this work? How do you have that mindset? Or most people say, how come this always happens to me? That's a different question.
It is, and I think we've all been in both places.
Okay.
But I didn't like feeling like that.
No.
Why does this so? I hate feeling like a victim.
A victim, that's what that is, right?
Hate it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve people around me, because who wants to be around someone who's always saying, why me?
Right.
All
Winnie the
these
Pooh kind of
things.
thing.
Yeah, the Eeyore syndrome.
Yeah.
And so I just said I'm just going to make things work. And ever since, I mean, there's a lot of stories in there. I lost my dad when I was 16, and I've been divorced, and I've had some serious debilitating injuries, and I really thought I could be in a totally different place right now.
Right.
I could be in a totally, and do you remember that show? I forget what it is called. Maybe Let's Make a Deal.
Yes.
At door number 3, and then you get the goat with the bale of hay,
Yeah.
or you could have had the $5,000 or something, and I always knew in my life there was a choice.
Yes.
There's different doors, and as far as I was concerned, I was already given door number 3, right? When something bad happened. So I thought, well, there's got to be door number 1 or 2. It's got to be better. So I'm not going to sit here.
Right.
And what I found is so many people do that.
They do. And I wonder if it's because they're conditioned. I don't know. What's your theory behind it? Why do most people look for the negative and then spiral out of control?
It's so much easier.
It is, isn't it? Oh,
It sucks.
Or you start drinking.
Yes, and that's true too.
And then you got 2 problems.
And then you have to solve 2 problems. I think that it really is easier. It's not that it's easy, because if you think about it, it's not easy, because then you're in a bad place, right?
Oh, yeah.
And your life just is in a bad place. But it's work to get up and move and do things. And one of the stories I tell in a couple different chapters, when I had my accident. So I fell off a balcony, I shattered my pelvis, broke my ribs, broke my back, and it was awful. But 6 years later, a very close friend of mine was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she was pregnant at the time with her third child. And of course, you know, we all want to support each other. And I wanted to do something that really meant something. I didn't want to just shave my head just to be, you know, the sisterhood. A lot of women do that, and that's fine.
Sure.
But I thought, what could I do that would make me hurt kind of as much as she hurts, and go through something really difficult? So I decided to run. Now, I'd never run in my life. Okay. So I was almost 40 at the time, and there's a race in Litchfield, the Litchfield Road Race. I'd never run it. I would go every year and drink gin and tonics on the sidelines, but I never and I'd say next year, maybe I'm gonna train for it, and I never did. And now here I was, arthritic, I had pain, and I decided that I was gonna run that race.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, you're really testing me.
2019, 18? I remember seeing it
Oh, were you? Oh gosh,
or is that
no.
another race?
Yes, I'm trying to think, I was 40, so that was 18 years ago.
Okay, but I did see something on Facebook a couple years ago with you, maybe just another marathon that you were doing.
Yes, and I've been a runner for years since then.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so what happened was I went ahead and I thought, gosh, if I could run 7 miles, that would be amazing. And it would be really hard, because my body has been tortured. And I could really sort of, because what she was doing was really hard. She was pregnant. She had breast cancer that was not good, and she was going through chemotherapy. So she was very sick.
With the baby?
While she was pregnant.
Oh, I never heard.
Yeah, so I thought, what could I do that would sort of a stretch for me? Because we always tend, I think, to just do the comfortable thing. And that's why I say, even when people are having a bad time, it's just easier to just sort of stay and self-medicate rather than let's get through this. So I did this race, and it really opened doors for me. It was one of the most healing things I ever did, because I felt as though I was powerful, more powerful than I even imagined, and that how your mind can really can bring you places. If you decide to do something, you can really make things happen.
You just got emotional there. You kind of went back to it, didn't you? Like, were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I could see that in your face.
I think about it. I think, you know, and it's one of those things I don't talk about very much. We're having a discussion about it. But I also don't live in those moments, because I think it's important to and then move on to the next thing, and move on to the next thing, because we never grow. We never grow if we're just polishing our trophies from high school.
Yeah, I'm talking about how I was playing football, you know, 50 years ago.
Exactly.
So the next thing, so you write the book's out, and then I hear that you're speaking, and I know you have an event coming up, I think, in the fall, and did everything get picked up as far as your speaking tour, or how did that work out?
Well, what happened, to backtrack, was when the pandemic started and the books weren't published, and the tour got, the books did get published, but the tour, I thought, how am I going to do this? And I just started contacting people, libraries, women's groups, book clubs, and I did it all on Zoom.
Oh, you did?
I did.
How did that go for you? Because I know a lot of people have done that.
Yes. Well, I love energy. So I could sit here and talk to you all day. Because we're interacting.
Right.
And I can see your expression,
Right.
which gets me excited, and you know.
But it's hard to do on Zoom.
Very hard.
Right? Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And then some people have their cameras off.
Yes.
And you're kind of like,
Are you on? Are you listening to me? Did you go get
Hello?
yourself some tea?
There's
Are you
gonna be a
drinking a
quiz.
cocktail? Yeah. Like,
are you sleeping?
Are you sleeping?
Right.
Yeah, you don't get any feedback.
You don't feel the energy.
Right.
And that's so important. So, but I did it anyway, because that's what we did. But one of the things I wanted to do, I've wanted to speak at the WOW Forum for years.
Okay.
I am an avid event attender.
Okay.
I love personal development.
Yep.
And I go every single year. It's always around my birthday. Some days it's on my birthday.
It's October, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
October 1st.
Okay.
And so I got a phone call. And actually, I was having a bad day that day.
Okay.
And I said to my son, I'm gonna go to the gym. And I got in my car and the phone rang. And it was the gal that runs the WOW Forum, and she said, we would love to have you as a keynote speaker.
Now, did she find out because of the book, or how did it happen? How did that all?
People knew me in Torrington.
Okay, gotcha.
And then the book, of course,
Yep.
had been published,
Yep.
and so it was more of a reason to, have me there.
That's wonderful.
And it's about mindfulness and mindset, so I
Wow.
was kind of the...
So it sounds like you have been able to take the lemons, turn it into lemonade. So you live the walk.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about something that's, I read this in a book somewhere. This
No.
is your life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm all about nutrition.
Yes,
We
'cause-
have an organic farm.
Yes.
And I'm all about mindset.
Yep.
And so the lemonade diet is how I came up with the title, because it's a mindset diet. A lot of people will have lemons and they'll rot.
Right.
Piles of lemons.
Right.
And I talk about that in there too. But so.
So I have to ask you this, and we haven't prepped any of this, but
No.
do you meditate?
Do you know, I do occasionally.
Okay.
It's not, I'm not a daily meditator.
Okay, all right.
But I will tell you, I have really gotten into hiking,
Yep.
and I do it by myself.
Okay.
No distractions.
You're not listening to anything else. Okay, you're just
And
in the moment. So that's meditation.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. And you live in a beautiful place in Connecticut. So, I mean, you could go for walks and hike.
Anywhere. I've been hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
Yeah, last year during COVID, making the lemons,
Right.
the lemonade, I hiked Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Maryland, the whole trail.
Wow. Now, I also know that you work in direct sales.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of people that you coach and a lot of people that you encourage to be independent. What are the biggest challenges working with people, honestly? Because we can say, oh, it's easy, but I mean, if you got a lot of people in your organization, and I know you do, it's not easy, is it? So what's the common denominator of the stress points that you have to overcome with people? Is it self-esteem? Is it mindset? What's the issues that you find with people, since you're dealing with people all the time?
I feel like nothing can't be helped without your mindset.
So if you have a bad attitude
Forget
or
it.
a bad filter, there's nothing you can do to help somebody. And you're not going to try to push a rope, right?
No. And that's why people drink. Right? Let's face it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, first of all, I only work with people who are willing to work.
Yes.
So I'm not there to, you can't resuscitate the dead. If
And you're not a
people-
babysitter?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So people really have to be willing to raise their hand.
Okay.
They don't have to be running, but they have to be walking.
Okay, okay.
And then I get them to jog and then run, and not physically, but they've got to move up in the ranks, because I don't want to stay somewhere with someone. Really be intentional
Right.
about moving on. So that's one thing. But what I found is sort of the biggest thing is people don't realize that they can change.
They don't.
They don't. And so my hashtag is, it's never too late to change your life. It's
Wow.
long.
Yeah, yeah.
However, I think that people get stuck.
Sure.
So think about it in any area of your life. So someone goes to school, right? They go to college, and maybe they put in 2, 4, 8 years of school. They're in a career, and they hate it.
Right.
But they've invested all that time so they don't change.
Sure.
And now they're in that, and marriages, same
Right,
thing.
sure.
A relationship, you've invested a lot of time. People live in homes that they don't love. They live in areas they don't want, but they're committed. Well, I've done this my whole life.
But you know what I think it is? I've thought about this a lot. I think they're just afraid of the unknown, or they're afraid of the uncertainty. You know, like you're in prospecting, you're talking to clients, you're talking to customers. You don't know what's going to be on the other side of that conversation. You have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people come in here, they call me and they say, we'd love to do a television show with you. Here's my script. Here's what I want to talk to. I said, look, this isn't CBS. We're not going to script this. This is going to be a conversation, and that's it. And then some people say, no, I have to have it all scripted out. And I think what it comes down to is fear. Fear of the unknown.
Right, and that's where the change comes in.
Sure.
So people don't want to change.
They don't want to change.
Because they fear the unknown.
Right. And I see these in churches, and I see these in organizations, not just, or families as well. You know, families can get stuck too, you know, and it's widespread. So how do you decide to let somebody go? I guess it's a boundaries question. Like, how do you know, hey, look, enough's enough, I can't save you, and you just move on? I mean, how do you do that? Because you're a caring person.
Right. A couple of things. I, as you say, you know, walk the talk,
Okay,
right?
right.
And that's one of the reasons I wrote my book, because when people meet me now, they think that I'm wherever. You
That
know,
you walk
they
on
put
water,
me-
you mean?
Well, no, I don't want to say that, but people don't realize where I've been.
Oh, sure, this is your
The
story.
struggle.
Yeah, right.
So what I like to do with people, and why I wrote this book, it's so easy to read, and each chapter is in of it, so everyone can relate to something in there.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Right.
Maybe they didn't break their back,
Right.
but maybe they had something else. So,
Sure.
so I want people to see that we've all been there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
And I've been there too. So it's sort of like being a leader and leading the way.
Yeah.
Because I know something that helped me years ago. I was at my very first conference with a company that I'm no longer with. And I'd never done anything like that before. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was invited actually to speak there and give my little short testimony.
Okay.
And I was with the leaders in the company. And I remember going up, and I had a 5-minute thing that was scripted. I,
Sure.
wrote it all out, but it was
Right.
approved. And I remember looking, as I was speaking, I remember looking out and seeing all the people and realizing they look just like me.
That's wonderful.
They look just like me.
Sure.
And they were the top leaders in the company.
No difference.
No difference. I mean, of course, we all look a little different, but there wasn't any special
Right.
thing that I
Sure.
saw. I thought we're all moms and wives and sisters.
If they did
and-
it, I can do it.
Sure.
Why not?
And so I think it's important that when I'm working with people to just say, come on, I'm not special.
Right.
And you're not either. Like, your problems, other people have
Right, right.
overcome.
They're universal.
Way worse.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
So if you really want to get better, you can do that. You can do it too.
You can do it. Wow. Well, you're an inspiration, that's for sure. So what do you do when you have a bad day?
When I have a bad day, I have 2 dogs, so I recommend everyone, if you're ever going to have a bad day, have a dog nearby.
Oh, they love you unconditionally.
Oh, they're so awesome, and they're characters. I love them. So I will go for a hike.
Okay.
I'll go for a walk.
So you're moving your body.
I
So
move
it's
my
also
body.
stimulating your emotions. And, so you got this
People don't
down.
realize that. Yeah, if there's some, I have a power move. I'm all jazzed up, so I didn't
I just
need
got
to.
chills when you said that. So yeah, my mom used to say when I was a kid, oh, you're having a bad day or you're bored, go for a walk, go
Yes.
outside, go play, do something.
Yeah.
You see the kids today, they're on Facebook, they're on all this media stuff, and
No
they're
wonder.
tied, they're almost, it's kind of tough.
Yeah, so no wonder they can't kind of get out of that.
That's right, I got
and
it.
yeah, my mom used to tell me, go outside. My kids, I would say, go jump on the trampoline. I'd see them running
have a
outside. Not
you-
anymore,
oh,
but when
okay.
they were they're all old.
So I was
now,
at my sister's house the other day, and my great nephew is like 7. And he says, "Come on, play on this tramp." And the thing is giant. giant. You know, I've never been on one so big. And I'm bouncing with him. You know, I'm in my 50s. And he goes, do you feel like a kid? I says, always.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
it's hard to be depressed when you're flying up 7 feet in the air.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. And doing stuff and going places.
Yeah.
I found there's I do a lot of meetings at night. And,
Okay.
and there's times when I feel like, oh, the whole day's gone by.
Yeah.
And I get up early. I put in a full day. You're kind of like, oh.
What time do you get up? 5, 6?
5:30.
Did you see the sunrise the other day? It was red.
I didn't, but I saw my girlfriend post it on
I saw it with
Instagram.
my own eyes, and I think it was today or yesterday. I forget. The days rolls into each other, but it was beautiful.
I'm really bummed I missed it. But I usually catch a sunrise.
Okay.
Whenever I'm on a vacation, I set my alarm because I want to see the sunrise wherever I go.
You ought to go to Jerusalem and see the sun come up the
Really?
Mediterranean. Oh, it's wonderful.
Okay, it's on my list.
There you go.
You don't have to twist my arm.
So how do people get a hold of you? Your website, contact information.
So it's just my name, SusanVWheeler.com. And yeah, I have all my stuff there. I'm of course on social media. And here's the other thing too. I'm always positive, and I'm not saying I don't have a bad day here and there.
Right.
But I don't talk about it.
Right.
You're not going to see me get on and no, because I think.
You mean like on Facebook and social media?
Yeah.
I've seen people post negative stuff and saying, why
Have
are
you ever?
Well, I don't know
kidding.
why they would do that. You know, tragic things like from their childhood, and I'm like, this is not going away. Like, why would you put that? Like,
No.
yeah,
No. Work through it.
Yes.
You know, go places,
Sure.
laugh with a friend. Even laughing.
Yes.
If you can make yourself laugh, you can get out of a mood. And I'm not saying it changes everything completely,
Right.
but it's important. It's
Right.
important to do those things.
Even your posture and the way you hold your body, it changes your physiology and your emotions. Your breathing too, right?
And you know what I do too? Yes, breathing is important because we don't breathe.
Right.
But smiling.
Oh, yes.
I just put a huge smile on my face.
Right.
And I saw, you know who Tony Robbins is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So Tony Robbins was like right here, and
You went to a workshop or what?
he came to one of our events.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was right up front, and he
Gotcha.
was so close.
And he looked at you?
He did.
Yes.
I think he spit on me. That was
Oh,
when
okay,
you could
that's how
spit on
close.
people.
Yes. I missed those days.
Yeah, I know. I just want someone to spit on me again. But what he said, something really bad happened when he was
Sure.
in his early days, and he instead of getting upset about it, he kind of took a breath and he said, "That's fascinating."
Yes.
And he just kind of took a little different view of it.
Right.
And so I think we really need to train ourselves
Yes.
to, some people immediately knee-jerk reaction, they'll get mad or,
Sure.
yeah.
That's your home. That's what he talks about. That's your home. Those are the emotions that are patterns and habits that you keep on going back to. They're really familiar. And if you can break the pattern and condition yourself like you're doing, you can turn lemons into lemonades.
That's right.
Am I right? Yeah.
That's right.
I love this. Thank you for the book.
And that's for you.
Thank you.
With love.
I am going to read it. I love to read. And I'm very happy to know you. I'm proud to know you. And I'm so great to see that you're blossoming and you're growing and nothing has stopped you.
Can't be stopped.
Well, we are out of time. We'll have to have you on again.
Awesome. I'd love that.
Okay. Susan Wheeler, The Lemonade Diet. You got to get a hold of the book. So until next time, stay focused and mind yourself.